subbers, as you saw over there. I'm at VloggerFair. It took a while for me to find this place, but I found it. Someone told me that there's some Seahawks fans. So, even though I decided to, put my hat away just in case, you could count me. But as you can see, I decided to put the hat back on.
Good morning again.
Good morning.
I think we're ready to kind of kick things off. For the presenters in the room, we do have Chase, who's going to be, he's up front waving his hand. He's got a big camera too. Everyone does, really. It's not about the size of the lens. I told myself that. I am Chris Pirillo, and usually, no, see, I'm not used to like screaming people for happiness. It's usually like screaming for, running from. But I'm not used to that type of YouTube event. I am the host this weekend. If you have any issues whatsoever, and I say this to everybody, feel free to grab myself. We also have Liz, who's been my right and left hand during this entire experience. And so if you need anything, we may not have everything, but as you can see, and I think this is I think really kind of fitting for what VloggerFair has meant to me, and it's been different every year and intentionally. This is something. Was I really that bad? give me 5 minutes and you get better. Oh yes, naturally. Who does not? So VloggerFair has been different every single year, and I wanted to kind of run through in my particular presentation. And it's not. Don't worry. I'm not a big presenter type of person. I'm a talker, which makes me great for video. Horrible for editing video, but a good talker. The tone is really friendly. I believe in friendly, constructive atmospheres. I believe in having a good time. And so many events can be, once you do them, and I've done a series of events over the years, but I always have the most fun in having conversations and developing lifelong relationships. You never know. The person who's sitting next to you may be the next big thing on YouTube or Vine or whatever platform or Instagram or what's Periscope, God, you name it. So now you should probably pick up your vlog camera and vlog. So start it the right way. Everyone vlog at the same. Can you vlog at the same time for me? Your phone just died.
No way.
So quickly. That was so soon. Just pick up the. Start vlogging. But it's okay. We're all in the same. This is safe. Like we don't know each other. But this is a safe environment. Where else could you do this? We're all just talking together. And the energy is palpable.
Yeah.
Just do it. Do it. I haven't watched the video enough times, I guess. So where else could you do that? I think in many ways, permission between us is pretty much explicit or implicit. We understand that every other person's going to have a camera, so that's not going to be a surprise. I've been doing video for a number of years. It's been a good experience. It's been a growing experience, and VloggerFair is just a chance to connect. So with that, I got to turn it on first. See, knowing technology, gotta wait till it closes. I'm not much of a presenter. Some people have asked what the heck I do, because I've done a lot of things. I've been in business for myself for about 20 years. I've been an entrepreneur, largely content related, and some people know me better than others. YouTube was not the beginning of my career, nor is it the end. YouTube is just a platform, and I believe that people in this room, specifically content creators, you are the platform. Keep that in mind. That's when a new resource spins up, you can use it to connect with community, because community does not exist on any one site or any one app or another. It exists in your heart. Keep that in mind. And this is something that I've experienced over the past 20 years of doing what it is that I do. I didn't have to quit my job because this has always kind of been my job, which puts me in a relatively interesting position. So over time, I have taken what I've learned and shared it with others. People will often ask me for advice, and I'm very, very happy to give it. Very happy. And VloggerFair, when it kind of came together originally, I wasn't sure what to make of it. And I wasn't sure who was going to come. It's kind of been that way. But if you look around the room right now, this is VloggerFair. This type of very family-friendly, very family-oriented, very family, because I'm a dad, and it's like the best thing that's ever happened to me in my entire, better than the iPhone. Like it's... Okay, better than Star Wars, and that's... My daughter's name is Jedi, that is for real. She hopefully will be here at some point. She's even got her own badge. Don't ask her any questions because she doesn't have her first word mastered yet. So when I put things out there as an entrepreneur, sometimes I don't know what's going to happen. And one of the lessons I learned is that I just do it because I've got an idea and I see where it goes. And often, when you create a product or you create something, you're doing it, you're just doing it. And you learn very quickly that instead of, when you've got the idea, you cater it or you mold it around the community that wants it most. Instead of me creating this BloggerFair because I want to go after these types of people, I just create the experience and see who wants it, and that's where it goes. And so this type of experience, this is where it's headed. So in many ways, you're dictating what happens with the event. And I'm doing my best to dovetail it, if you will, with everything that I might do online, including my regular vlogs, which are regular. But I also find that in talking to other content creators that you kind of happen into this. I've been doing this for a long time, so I've had a lot of experiences, a lot of opportunities come up, and I find myself in a very interesting position in that way. So my belief is smaller is bigger, and this is something that's come to me over the past few years. With more and more attention being taken, which is not bad. Back in the day, it was difficult to connect with people. Now it's so easy, so everybody's doing it. Quote unquote, everybody. The value of vlogging sometimes is just to live your life, instead of having life live you. And there are now possibilities to make that easier for content creators. I'm here to cater to people who want to be here. And that's a big thing. For events, it's a challenging thing, and I don't want to talk about how the sausage is made, because trust me, events are fun. Every person in this room is a special interest group, and keeping everybody happy is my job, it's Liz's job, it's our team's job, and we will do our best. But the people in this room are generally here not because you were told to be here, not because you had to be here, because you wanted to be here. And that is a different type of, I guess, a part of an experience, rather than being in a room full of people who are just not sure what the connection is, not sure why they're there, don't even want to be there. You're obviously motivated. I'm not a morning person, and I'm up, I'm doing things. So you're motivated enough to be out of bed this morning, especially with children. I didn't understand that until about 11 months ago, so now I understand it very, very well. I want to introduce and then step out of the way. And Hollywood is a series of connections and people that all want to be in between you and the relationships that you're trying to build. And I'm not into that. I want to be able to facilitate the relationship. I want to be able to set the stage that you can talk to a sponsor or someone who's tied into partnerships at a company directly and have that direct relationship and then step out of it. I don't want to be I want to be the person who made that connection, and that's it. I'm not anti-Hollywood, I just operate differently, obviously, from Seattle. But I want to take that type of experience that I'm trying to do here in Seattle, closer to where maybe some of you live, and figuring out how to get that done. And I know it's possible. Really, I fight for the user, to quote Tron, I fight for the user. I'm a creator, I'm doing it myself, so I understand the problems and frustrations. Keep that in the back of your head. I'm trying to make it work. I don't know how it's going to work, when it's going to work, where, but I do want to talk to a few key individuals about helping make that possible. We all like tall trees, we all want to be a tall tree, but not every one of us can be a tall tree. And I want to support the forest. That's my approach. I don't know, I can turn next to the person sitting next to me and they could be the next big thing. You never know. And that's how I treat my relationships, because you never know. That's my intention. So VloggerFair is more about that entire forest of trees of all shapes and sizes, all heights, so that the water is distributed evenly. And so I'm not an ecologist at all. I think I've beaten the analogy to death, and I hope y'all are with me with that analogy. So thank you again for your support. If there, as I said, we're setting the stage the entire weekend for you to facilitate relationships. Setting that stage, you get out of it what you put into it. We're very, very happy to have you, and still want to keep doing this again and again and again, and can only do that with the fantastic support that we've received at this point. So that hopefully sets the tone, gives you a better explanation. Don't be a stranger. I'm going to be pulled 13 different directions, but I expect that. I've got an invisible leash on me. Don't look, it's invisible. But if I happen to get pulled that way, that's probably why. I think we're doing well on time. Awesome. So next up, we've got, hang on, I will press the button. Sprout is going to be doing a buy. So when I say that, they're just kind of, what's the sports term? Is it buy?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, I got it right. Did I get it right, Dad? This is a very family event. My dad's in the back, by the way. You wonder about it. So when I say family, I mean it. And he wants to be here too. He's been able to learn a lot. He vlogs himself. So the next one, the next session, we'll bring him up here and get facilitate with everybody who's involved with this. I believe Tim Tim Schmoyer, hello. All of us obviously chose to be here to talk about how do we spread messages that change lives and casting vision for family. I know not all of us maybe are family vloggers, but I get really excited when I get to hang out with people who do believe in family and are spreading messages online that are really powerful and change lives. So, what I'm talking to you guys about today is I'm probably going to ignore the SEO part and talk mostly about the money part. What I really want to do is help you guys understand how to think about your channels in a way that makes the stories and the vision that you're casting for families sustainable long term. Welcome on the stage.
I'll start. Hey, I'm Meghan Tonjes. I am a body positive activist, vlogger, musician, podcaster, everything that I need to do to pay rent. And yeah, that's pretty much it about me.
My name is Jon Presser. I host a show called Front Page Tech. I know all of you have probably heard of me, so settle down. No, seriously, tens of people watch me, so I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty much the coolest one here. If you have seen me, I'm really, really sorry. I'm not necessarily a vlogger. I have a tech news show, so this is basically like my playground to learn. That's pretty much about me.
My name is Austin Null of the 9 Knolls on YouTube, where I make videos with my hot wife and cute kids. I brought one of them with me. Want to say hi? Tell them your name.
My name is Audrey and
What else do you want to say?
Lizzie.
No. Her name is Audrey and she, nothing anyways. So, yeah. And that's it.
Hi, I'm Tim Still. There's something powerful about online video where you can make eye contact with somebody, you know, like where you can build there's a lot of nonverbal communication. You can feel make someone feel like they're with you. Like you can show them, here's what I'm doing. You know, and it's hard to do that through Facebook posts or podcasts and as much as we all love those things. But with online videos, it's a unique opportunity to really connect. So I really love a lot of the stories that I know all of us have, and you guys do too. That really allow us to use our voice to make a difference.
I guess I'm here to talk about race stuff. So white people. I recently just started talking a lot about kind of race relations, kind of in America, because there's a lot of different things going on. And just a little bit about me. My wife is black. I'm white. So we have, I guess, an interesting dynamic, but just kind of like being married and going through things together made me realize that it doesn't matter if you're, as a white person, it doesn't matter if you're around black people all the time. It doesn't mean that you understand that experience. And that also translates over to, all types of different races and different cultures and ethnicities and the experiences that they go through. But the predominant one in our country, white and black, is usually the kind of big issue. Recently I just started trying to make videos to kind of talk directly to white people from a white person's perspective and just try and help people understand, because I know a lot of white people, when they hear the word race, immediately, I see some people already are like, it's just, it's awkward because of our history and everything, but just trying to help people understand, it's okay to talk about things, it's okay to listen and empathize and hear the other side, and just try to come together, and so that's what I make videos about, try and talk about.
So, if we're talking about community and using your voice, I come from a much smaller channel. I think we just hit 10,000 subscribers, and I've been doing it for, I think, 3 years. And our schedule's pretty different in the sense that it is a tech news show, so we'll just, whenever we do get the news, we're 3 days out of the week now, 5 days out of the week, we go ahead and we try to give the news in a more entertaining way than you would traditionally get it if you just watch some band the news, talk about the next iPhone. Some days when you go to do it, you realize, I don't really feel like it. I'm going to do this and 200 people are going to see it and that's it. So there's been so many days where I'll go and I'll stand in front of the camera and be like, I don't feel it. So I'm just not going to do it. I'm just not going to do it. But then there have been times where you get so frustrated and then you look at your email inbox. And I'll never forget this one email I got from a dad, and he had a son named Cooper who was 14. And months before, his mother had passed away from a brain tumor. And now Cooper, the son, had a brain tumor as well. And every night in the hospital, they made it a point to watch my show. As a father and son, sat down, watched my show, which was insane to me. First of all, kids should not be watching my show. But to think that I was affecting just like, okay, again, you get so frustrated. Oh, only 200 people are going to see that. Well, that was only 2 people out of the 200. And to know that, like, I impacted them in that way completely, like, changed my whole vision on what we do. So, no, it's, yes, you need money to, like, sustain things, and it's nice to have money, but, like, knowing that it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have, if you can affect one life, to me, that, like, changed my vision on everything. There's been a couple emails like that. Like, there was one guy had literally thought about ending his own life, and just, like, kind of sat down for 10 minutes that my show runs, and laughed a little bit, and realized, you know, there's some happiness to life. Just know that, like, in someone's darkest times, you can make someone laugh. And, like, you don't even know. Like, you're not in front of the camera preparing, like, I'm going to make you laugh today. Just keep in mind that it doesn't matter how many subscribers you have. As long as you can affect one life, that's more than a lot of people can say.
Hi. It's so serious right now. Using your voice. When do I shut up? Never. I use my voice in a lot of different ways. I think, you know, I started doing music, and I think the first 10 videos I didn't say anything. I don't think I introduced who I was. It's just like, here we go, here's a song. I'm learning how to play guitar. And I was 19, and I think, like, as I kind of, you know, went through college and I went through all these experiences, I started realizing that as I was learning, like, I feel like as you learn better and you do better, you have to kind of pass that on. And I feel like that's really where my YouTube channel became the conduit for that. I didn't grow up seeing anyone that looked like me that was happy, that was like being successful or doing music or doing any of these magical things that I'd kind of been raised to believe, like, well, once you lose weight, you look a certain way, then you can do them. And the internet kind of became this magical place where, like, the underdog can be the cool kid. So early on in YouTube, I started in 2006. 2008, I started this collab channel called Project Life Size. We did it for 4 years, and I really did it as a response to, I was getting all these messages saying, you know, I want to do what you do, I want to do music, but I read your comments, and I couldn't do it. And I thought, like, that's such a sad thing that you want to do something that you're passionate about and you won't do it because of what people might say. So did the collab channel. That was kind of, I think, my first foray into body positivity and just sending a message and really having real conversations. That was what it was about. And I think what's continued on what I'm doing is people approach YouTube differently, and people approach the internet differently, and we all have different reasons for why we want to do it and what we want to get out of it. And I think I was very lucky in the sense that I didn't go in wanting to be famous or wanting to going in to do any certain thing. I really just wanted to be honest about who I was and what I was going through and connect with other people. And I think it's a lot easier to remember who you are when you're not playing a character. It's a lot easier to, like, you know, wake up and know, like, okay, I get to be myself today, and that's a pretty amazing gift. And I would say that it hasn't maybe given me, like, the biggest audience in the world, but it's given me a very passionate audience and people that, you know, I don't want to speak for anyone, so I'm encouraging them to use their voice. And if they're inspired by what I'm doing, that's awesome. But ultimately, like, I want them to walk away knowing that they have a lot of power in their words. Words mean things, and they should be using them. Some of the things I've done the past year have mostly involved my butt. I'm leading the booty revolution on Instagram. Also, these chairs are kind of like a fat girl's nightmare right now, but that's okay. You know, my mom always was like, you should be a lawyer. You never shut up, and you always have a good excuse for everything. I was like, that's me. And that really is translated to what I do on the internet, because last year, I put up a photo of me in underwear and a t-shirt, and it got flagged as nudity or pornography. And I don't take things lying down, so I immediately made a YouTube video. It was like, is it nudity or pornography, or is it just we're uncomfortable seeing a certain type of body? And so it's easier to flag something and get rid of it, because if I don't want to see you, no one should have to see you. I made the video, went viral, it was all over everything. My butt. I would have worn cuter underwear had I known that was the photo that was going to be all over my parents' TV screen in the Midwest. So I dealt with that and you know, once that video went up on BuzzFeed, there's comments and just like horrible things, and you realize that every horrible thing that's ever been thought by me or someone else has been said on the internet about my body. And as I've continued on making videos like that and kind of calling out behavior online, whether it's through YouTubers and people in the community or it's things that I see in media, you know, it's really just a passion project of like, if I feel like something's wrong, I want to say it. And I feel like if I can be the voice for something that's great, but ultimately I want to inspire the next voice and hope that you guys are all standing up for things that you feel are important and protecting your bodies and protecting yourself and, yeah, doing great things. So, a lot of talk forever. I'm sorry, I black out and I start talking about butts and then it's all over.
I think it's really good. I like one thing that you said, Megan. I want to point out to everybody is that, and I think Chris talked about this too. It's like it's not the size of the tree, or the size of the audience, but one thing I try to remember is that every single view, like every single subscriber represents an actual person. I work with a lot of creators and they're like, oh, I'm only getting 10 views, I'm only getting 200 views, you know. They're like, look around the room right now, how many people do you think? It's like 150, 200 maybe, something like that? I don't know. Like, if you're getting, like, this is how many people are actually watching your videos. And, I mean, we all came out from different parts of the country to talk to you guys, but you guys got the same opportunity every day on your channels. And I think it's just awesome when you think about, you know, less about, like, statistics to acquire and numbers to accumulate and to make you feel good about yourself or strokes an ego or something, but it's more about spreading a message that makes a difference, you know, and talking about things that matter. Even if it's only 10 people, like if you change 10 people's lives through your video, like wouldn't that be awesome? Like you might not hear the stories, but just by the fact that they click play, they watch and hear what you have to say, even if they don't comment, they still heard your message, and they have to either reject it at that point or accept it, or maybe just like, oh, that was interesting, and move on. But either way, they heard it. And I just think that's a really awesome part about YouTube, and I encourage all of you guys not to just get wound up into the numbers, but actually think of the numbers as people, because that's what they are.
I think you have to, something to think about is not necessarily like how many people are hearing your message, but ultimately what your message is. I think if you're saying true stuff and you're passionate about it and you're a kind person, like that stuff's going to get passed on and ultimately it's bigger than you. So I think you just want to be aware of that. And I also like, you really have to ask yourself a question of what you want to use your voice for. Do you want to use your voice because you want to hear how great you are? Do you want to have that back and forth of like a connection? Or, you know, do you want to create a community? Because I feel like a lot of times we don't start things because we feel like, oh, no one's doing it, and I don't see myself represented in anything. But like I always say, like at these panels and things, when people ask me, like, what's your advice? I'm always like, be the first. Be the first person to do something. If you don't see yourself represented, like the internet is an incredible place, and like good people will find an audience. And it's not about figuring out, like being stressed out about what you don't have. It's like, you know, it's kind of being really respectful of the audience that you do and knowing that like at the end of the day, there are people, whether it's 10 people or 10 million people that showed up to watch your video, that showed up to see your show, that came to a conference to meet you. And like you just, even, yeah, like you said, like one person, you make any kind of difference. It's an incredible thing because every day, like we watch videos and we're moved to be different, to be better, and to, you know, as you learn better, you do better and pass it on. And I think that to be a part of that is a really incredible thing that YouTube provides.
Well, I think also, you know, you say like, oh, if only 10 people watch your video. If those 10 people become your like brand ambassadors, then everyone they talk to is going to hear about you. They're going to be like, oh my gosh, they talk about this or they talk about that. You need to check it out. And it all relates. Like they just start this wildfire. It's not viral per se, but it's like you're actually affecting other people that don't even know yet. So if you invest in those people, no matter how big or small they are, you know, and I think also what you said is true, like going into it because you're passionate about the subject and not just because like, oh man, I hope someone sees this and it goes viral or something. Like I've been posting these videos on race and stuff and they get way less views than my cute kids, you know, like all that. Like no, my audience is not like that into it, but I feel passionate about it and I want to talk about it and share, you know, to hopefully affect other people. But yeah, so you just have to be passionate and just smart about how you do that.
Don't be afraid to use your voice. Like your audience will follow you. At least the audience that you want. Like the people that watched me 10 years ago are not the people that are watching me 10 years later. Well, but that's okay.
Also, when it comes, like if you're talking about like issues that are kind of prevalent within society, if you weed out people because they don't like what you have to say, then good. Like why? I have people that are like, I'm unsubscribing. I came here for the family. I'm like, please go away. I do not want you to watch my family. If you don't want to at least have a dialogue, and you're gonna, all right, bye. It's fine.
And it goes much deeper than YouTube as well. Like I believe Chris said, YouTube's just a platform. So it's crazy to think that when you, not just as a creator, but as a fan of these creators, you have so many opportunities to just go ahead and interact with them. Like these are real people too. They just so happen to have 10 people watching them. It was crazy to see just to think I was talking to my team, and it's nuts to think that just like an event like this, like your favorite creators, like I've been subscribed to Tim Schmoyer for I don't know how long, and then he's just out in the lobby. Like, so just to be like a fan and come to something like this is nuts. And to know that you have a similar opportunity to interact, like on social, on Twitter, like you just tweet Tim, and you're like, hey John, go away. But like he told me to go away. Tim Schmoyer told me to go away.
Tim and I were just talking. I was like, are you moderating this? He's like, I thought you were. So I don't really know what's going on, but
Tim asked if I was
we have anything else.
Are there any specific questions?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Let's get to some questions.
I can run around with the microphone if you want. No one, nothing?
You can shout it out. It's kind of
I'll just start talking about my dog in front of you.
You kind of have to find that balance, and I think that kind of goes along with your voice as well, because the more authentic you come across, the more your voice is going to be received in terms of whatever message you want to get across. So finding that balance, but still also, and I mean, some people are into it, but you also don't just want to be like, hi, so I'm here again, you know.
There's always an exception to the rule, though. There's someone out there that does it.
But and someone likes it, you know, but I'm just saying, find your voice and,
One thing that's true, both, to help answer your question, is both online and offline, the strongest communities revolve around shared beliefs, not just like common interests. We find that we have something in common, like we'll have something to talk about for a little bit, and then we'll go our separate ways, it'll be fine. But if we find out and discover that we both believe the same thing about something, about why something matters or why something's important, or something that drives us, like the connection is so much stronger at that point, and then we probably might be texting buddies later. I was like, but I think that like how you're finding your voice, like what do you really believe? Like, what is it that's driving you to want to make a video in the first place and put it out there? Like, what's your motivation behind that?
I think there's a huge difference between, when it comes to like finding yourself, finding your voice and stuff online, there's a huge difference between going after your audience and being yourself and sharing your own stories and having that audience find you. And you don't realize the difference until that happens. We have some of the most loyal, dedicated fans out of the 10 people that watch us, so, I mean, it tends to work.
I started at a time when YouTube was really looked down on, and I think traditional media still tries to kind of like poke at us online. It wasn't like a thing, like people didn't really look at it as like this great thing. So I think a lot of us were really trying it out and experimenting, and just like you do in life growing up, you try on different things to figure out what fits you and fit the pieces that kind of make up the personality that you have, but also like who you want to be. And I think that's really what goes into creating an online, if you're creating a character or you're being yourself, it's really a matter of trying things on and seeing what works. And you're going to try videos and you're going to do things that you hate doing, and they'll be your most successful thing. So you're always going to come to a crossroad where you have to ask yourself, is it worth it to continue doing something that I hate and not take care of myself and what I want to do creatively in order to get views? I think every creator comes to that crossroad. I think it's really a matter of figuring out like what kind of audience you want, and also being really smart about how to combine the things that maybe you're not crazy about, but do them in a way that you can sustain, and also balance that with things that you love doing, which is what I do. Like I do Request Tuesdays because I love doing music, and people find they want to see Miley Cyrus acoustic song, but they're going to watch that. They're going to come and check out my original music, which is really what I want them around for. And they're going to find my podcast, or they're going to, oh, she sings really pretty songs. I'm going to click on this video about body positivity or something like that and really listen to her opinion. So I think it's all about bringing people in different ways and then making sure they stay for stuff that you're passionate about.
People I know online, they'll put it in their hashtag. They'll hashtag it, this is an ad, or sponsored. And again, the forgiveness of, and first of all, if you get heat from people, and you will, get ready to if you put yourself out there, you're going to get heat.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, there's just going to be the haters and the trolls, and you're just going to muscle through it. But I think transparency is key, and then, again, with your voice, especially on mine, which is primarily comedy, right? If it's funny, I don't care.
If it's good,
yeah,
people will forgive a lot.
Oh, yeah.
If it's bad and you're hawking something, you're like, what is the point? You actually wasted 6 seconds of my life. But if it's good and it has replayability and they want to share it, then you've succeeded. You've done exactly what the brand wants. You've done exactly what you want because you're connecting with people, and you've done what the audience wants.
I just want full disclaimer, my phone's on the floor because this is live on a podcast right now. So, yeah, on Roar, R-A-U-R. If you're a podcaster, check it out, sorry.
I kind of feel like my audience really took really well to like our project and what we were asking, and I was really nervous to kind of launch it because of possible like negative perceptions. But the thing is, as a fan, I kind of look back as like just me being a fan, and I just want to like jump to help the people that I like to watch. No matter what the project is, you just want to be involved. And I was told once that your money, your heart follows your money. So like if you throw money into a project, it becomes real. For me, I'm like a huge sports fan. I spend way too much money on sports stuff, and it hurts like when your team loses in the playoffs, first round every single year for your entire life. It's like, it kills. And it's so weird because like for the people who don't really watch sports or don't have any money in it, it's like, why do you get so worked up? It's because when they win, it feels good because their victory is your victory, and you feel like you're a part of it, and you are a part of it because you help contribute to it, whether it's like funding the players' salaries. I'm using a sports analogy. The same thing goes for YouTube.
Thanks.
Is that Mark 4? 3?
2. Close.
Very nice. A lot nicer condition than ours, and ours is a model newer.
I actually did drop this like once. Now, yeah, it's like you can see like a little bit of that and all that. But I do have like my first one, and that, yeah, it's just, well, I've dropped it a few times. I even dropped it.
Don't put it in a pocket with keys.
Yeah.
That's a good pro tip. Probably don't put it in your pocket at all.
Oh yeah, never.
Buttons stop working, lenses stop shutting. It's bad news. And so I put it back in my pocket, as I just told you that.
If you open your mouth like she was raising, you want to try the bottom?
Can't walk away, it's pretty good.
This is her first time in a room with so many people. Thank you, everybody, once again for your support. I do want to mention that the food is courtesy of a sponsor of mine for quite some time.
Can I ask you like a couple questions? Yeah, or do you want to know?
No, you can record.
Okay.
Just want to know if I'm on camera.
All right.
Yeah, let me retweet something real quick.
All right. Let's give him time.
Give me a sec.
Time's up. Just kidding.
Time's up.
Get some time for like 2 quick questions?
Yeah, I don't care. Whatever you need, man.
All right, cool.
Let me just put this out with Meghan.
Or yeah, of course. Take your time. Here is Bob.
Hello. What station am I on?
You are on Jake's Great Vlogs.
Well, it's a wonderful opportunity to be here. You guys should all subscribe. If you're not subscribed to this channel, just do it immediately. Subscribe it. If you don't know who I am, you can check me out at youtube.com/BobJenz or ZGW, my new show. It's been around for a while, but this guy knows me as being the Grapefruit or the Annoying Orange, and Liam's a Leprechaun, so I played quite a few characters on that show.
Oh, yes. And of course, you can look at his tag.
Yep.
Over there.
That's me.
Yep.
Wait, where is it? I'm with a company called Blue Book, Social Blue Book 2, and BobJenz.
Yeah.
So it's the real deal. It's Bobby J in the house.
Oh yeah.
You got a question?
So I am going to ask the great Grapefruit like 2 quick questions.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll do it in Grapefruit's voice. All right. So let's do this.
Oh, brilliant. All right. So, what is it that inspired you to like make YouTube videos? Was it watching a YouTube video or reading about YouTube?
Okay, I can't do that in Grapefruit's voice because this is a BobJenz question. All right. What inspired me to start doing YouTube videos?
Like was it like a seeing it or hearing about it?
I was doing YouTube before it's cool. You know, I was making videos online for 6 years before YouTube even existed. I went to film school. I went to Emerson in Boston. I mean, I wanted to do this stuff since I was a kid. You know, when I was 14, 15 years old, I was editing on 2 VCRs before computers could even edit. So it wasn't YouTube in particular, it was the fact that I wanted to make stuff. I wanted to be a creator. And then YouTube was just another way to get it out there. You know, it's like a really cool way to get it out there. And so the minute I saw it, I fell in love with it. That's true.
That's sweet.
Yeah.
And the other one is, do you prefer like acting in front of a camera or doing a voiceover? You know, like do you prefer like animation or like live action?
I like being on camera better. It's more fun. But the voices are fun too. It's just a lot more work. Not only the voiceover stuff when someone else is doing the work is easy, right? But it's not as fulfilling, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
When you do it yourself and you're the animator like I am for Zombie George Washington, I write all that myself. I animate it all myself. People say, well, it's not that hard. Well, I'm not that good. It's a lot of work for me. So when you do all of it, that's what YouTubers do, right? Like we do all of it.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. course, technically, yeah, like when you're doing Annoying Orange, you are practically in front of a camera. It's just that your eyes and mouth are kind of
Yeah, it's
out.
hard. You gotta keep your head still.
Yeah. Do they do it the way where they put your mouth and then they just multiply one of your eyes, like your left eye?
Yeah, that's exactly how I do it.
It's like someone told me about that.
I did the same thing for ZDW, except I don't do the eyes. I just made a camera. I just did the mouth.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's how I did that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having me on your channel, dude.
Yeah, totally. And well, it's a huge honor.
Hey, and tweet it out and I'll retweet it and everything.
Oh yeah, will do.
Awesome.
Oh, I guess like one question. Can I get a picture with you?
Absolutely, no question.
Marvelous.
I gotta get back to the panel. What's up?
Yeah, that was Bob. This is really a dream come true. I got to ask a few questions to the guy who does Grapefruit and the Annoying Orange, and of course does the zombie George Washington. I at some point will say something to Samika, or to Nikki and John, and to Charles and Allie, and maybe Pirillo. We'll see.
It definitely requires a team, and I think that's another thing that YouTubers don't necessarily have access to all the time, is like a team of people who can help you. You know, like I have Maria and I have a whole other crew of people, and it's nice to say like, okay, I need to go home at 5:30. Can you guys handle like from 5:30 till, you know, whenever I can get back online after my son is asleep. And so to sort of translate that into the experience of being a YouTuber, it is important to have community, whether they're virtual or physical, who can sort of support you and help you like achieve that work-life balance, because I mean, I see how Joe works, and it's constantly, and it's nonstop, and it's till 2 a.m. just to get that video out. And it is important to keep consistent and do all those things, but it's also important to know like when to step back and when to take those moments just for yourself. Before having Jonah, I started Big Frame, and part of the impetus for starting Big Frame was I was seeing that this community was becoming more, I guess, quote unquote, legitimate, and brands were starting to come into that space. And for many of you who've been around for a long time, you do know that when brands started coming in the beginning, they were like, oh, we want to work with YouTubers because they're cheap. Because we can get them for like $200 and they have like millions of views. This is so awesome.
How many times, I'm going to ask you guys a question. How many times as creators and your channels, I've had it for years, and people even who have like mega YouTube channels, it's hard to explain. It was the subject of one of Rhett and Link's podcasts once, and it was like, how do you make money on YouTube? And you have two choices. You can go down that rabbit hole and try to explain that to somebody, or, because it would take a half hour of many, many questions and they still don't get it at the end, right? Or you can just say, it's ads. You know, how's it going to be valuable for a smaller YouTuber? I think education. You know, oh wow, there are people out there looking to sponsor content like mine. I'm worth X. Maybe it's time to see if I can endorse a product or do some kind of brand integration that'll make me some money so I can keep doing what I love. That's the value I think it brings, Tristan. That's Tristan Snell. He's my friend. Anybody else? I just gotta say, I am passionate about getting this information out there. In my opinion, in the age of information, if you're withholding it, you're gonna lose. The more data we have, the better we have to build our own personal businesses and this space. So, thank you for listening. It's gonna be a fun weekend. So, any questions, you come up to me, we'll talk about it. Any data, we'll talk about it. We're gonna get this right. Thanks, guys. Thanks so much. Is Chris around here? Hey, can we just watch my YouTube videos?
We can't do everything, but we will do as much as we possibly can to make this a good experience for you. People have been asking, well, how is it? You feel good? My response is typically, we'll ask everybody else. So if y'all are doing well, I'm doing well. Just assume that. So, thank you for making it a good first vlogger day. And I don't know, Liz isn't in the room, but really, she really helped make this come together. I'm very, very grateful. I'm very, very grateful to do something like this, and we will do more and more and more and more. Thanks again, and I hope you had a good day. And we'll have a good evening.
Well, that's it for Vlogger Day. I'm gonna go back to the hotel, but before I do that, I'm gonna see if I can say hi to any more of my idols who are here, any more of these video recorded gods of YouTube. It turns out the other idols of mine, they've already left. So as of now, I'm gonna go check in at the hotel. There it is. There it is, the Space Needle in the flesh. Metal. First I'm gonna look for where VloggerFair is taking place at, then I'll check in at the hotel. Oh, I better take it easy on this camera, it's almost out of power. Alright, let this camera rest for a little more, okay, one more thing. It's a cool museum and the blocked needle. I checked in about a couple hours ago, and this is the apartment. Or, well, this is the room. There's a big TV, there's this, that, and check out the view. And there it is again, the Space Needle. There's air conditioning, there's phones, there's power outlets. Internet's pretty good. So cool. I'm gonna go out and get some dinner because I'm starving. Now, I do regret not going to the Vlogger Day reception. I'll do it next year. It's not 100% hopeless. In closing, I hope you enjoyed today's Washington vlog. Smash the like button. Hopefully not the dislike button. Take care. Stay tuned for more vlogs. I will see you all later. Good night.